Roshan recording experiment 8 database lab. This is also another PLSQL programming experiment, and here you're going to use triggers. Let's see all the questions. So the first question asking us to create a trigger that does not allow insert, update, delete operators on supplier table. So this is on description I have given the syntax of a trigger. This is a syntax of a trigger. So based on the syntax, we're going to execute a query. So here we create or replace a trigger, and this is the name of the trigger. This is the name I gave, and you want the triggers to run before an insert, delete, or update occurs on supplier table. So once it occurs, you calls this function. The name of the function is raise application error, and this is the error ID, and this is the message that is to be displayed once the error occurs. So let's see the output. So here I define the trigger, then I tried to update the supply table. So what happened was it said don't do that, and this was a message I had given on the arguments to the raise application error function, and here it also sees which trigger raised the error. So here it says ends updil, that is the name of the trigger I created. Now let's go to question 2. It says to create a trigger to ensure that does not contain duplicates. So you created this is the name of the trigger, duplicate check. Now before you insert something, what I do is I'll see I'm putting this trigger on the order table. So I actually created another temporary table which contains all values in the order table, and the name of the temporary table is order temp. So I don't want in duplicates to be inserted to the table order temp. So what I do is before an insertion, before an insertion, I'll count the number of rows which has the same order ID as the values that is being inserted. So order ID is a key, that is a primary key. It is supposed to be different. The other two attributes in the table are order date and customer ID, which can be same, but order ID has to be different. So if I find any other rows in the table that has the same order ID as that of the order ID being inserted, I would raise an error. So the count function will count the number of rows of such type. Now this is a message that will be displayed, no duplicates allowed. So let's see the output. So in the output, what happens is, I try to insert a value 107 10 October 14 and customer ID 4. This was rejected by the trigger because the value 107, the order ID 107 was already present in the order temp table, so it was rejected. Then again I tried another number 108, but it was ended perfectly because 108 was not present in the order temp table. Let's go to the third question. Create a trigger that traces an user-defined error message and does not allow updating order table. So this is similar to the first experiment, first question, and here you have the trigger, and this is the name of the trigger. Now this is to be run before an updation occurs on supply table, and so we'll see how it works. Once an updation occurs, you call the raise application error function, and this is the message to be displayed, no updation permitted. So let's see how the output goes. So first I define the trigger, then I try to update the supply table, and it says no update permitted, and this is the trigger responsible for this error message. So trigger update, that is the name of the trigger I created. Now let's go to question 4, and the question 4 is asking us to write a PLSQL script to display the supplier details who has a rating greater than 3. First you need to find who are the suppliers who has a rating greater than 3. So here you use a cursor, you create a cursor to find the suppliers and their information who has a rating greater than 3. Now in the PLSQL execution part, you open the cursor, then you fetch them inside a loop since there might be more than one supplier, and if not, and you do this until no supplier and you don't find any supplier who has rating greater than 3 in the cursor. Until then, you run the loop and you display the information. Once the end loop ends, you close the cursor. Now let's see the output. Yeah, in the output you can see the in the supply table there are 4 suppliers, and these are the supply IDs and their names. This is the gender and this is the supply date. Now that is question 4, and in question 5 you're making a PLSQL script to display the product names whose order quantity is greater than 10. This is similar to the previous question. You have a cursor again which finds out the product IDs where the quantity is greater than 10. Once you find that out, inside a loop you fetch those information of those products and you display them until there is no more products with a quantity greater than 10. So in the question, of all the products, of the order of all the orders of products, these are the products which is ordered and has a quantity greater than 10. You can see it's 11, 12, all the values are greater than 10. And question 6, you have a trigger. You're supposed to create a trigger that is to okay, once you update the customer table, you want the ordered customer ID in the customer table, you want the customer ID in the order table also to be updated. This is like to maintain integrity. So first I created 2 temporary tables is equal to the order table and customer tables. This is because I already have a constraint, foreign key constraint on the customer ID in these 2 tables, so I don't want that interfering with my trigger. So I created 2 temporary tables, and inside the I'm now going to show how it is done. Here what you do is, once an updation occurs on the customer table, so the equal customer temp table, what you do is you update the order table and you find out the new customer ID, that is what you want what customer ID you want to change the old customer ID to, and you make the customer ID in order table to that. And to find out what to change, you use this. So from the customer ID you find the unupdated, so what was the customer ID before updating, and you find that, and you see if there is any equivalent customer ID in the order table. If there was, you will update that customer ID with and make the value equal to the new customer ID. So in the output you can see here I created 2 temporary tables, and I updated the customer ID of 4 to 6. So this is the new value is 6 and the old value is 4. And once I display the order table which I did not update, the trigger automatically did the updation, and you can see anymore 4 yes, but you can see a 6. That is the previous value 4 here was changed to 6. Now let's look at question 7. It is to write a PLSQL block to display an implicit cursor for a given value. So a cursor is implicitly created and run when you run any SQL statement. So here I'm running an SQL statement of updation. Now I'm simply increasing the customer IDs by 1. Now what happens is, I want to know, I'm using this row count. This is a percentage row count. This is a kind of like a keyword. This is always associated with a cursor. To show an implicit cursor is being run here, I use the SQL percentage row count. So it will fetch the number of rows that was updated in the previous SQL statement that was executed. So here, using this, I can say this many customer IDs were updated. If you look here, yeah, these were the previous IDs and these are the new IDs, all increased by 1. And here it displays 4 IDs were updated. That is, this value 4 was generated using this association, that is SQL percentage row count. Now in question 8 they are asking us to create an explicit cursor. So an explicit cursor has to be declared in the declare block. Now this is the name of the cursor and this is the function. This is a SQL query, so I just decided to display the entire customer table. And now there's definitely more than one rows fetched, that there will be more than one row fetched to the cursor. So let's see how it works. Mm, Here again, I use the for any cursor that you have declared explicitly, you need to open the cursor, then fetch the cursor. So yeah, sorry, here you don't have more than a row fetched. You have only one value fetched, that is a number of customers in the customer temp table. So that once you open the cursor, then you run the you fetch the value, that is the count, into num. Num is a variable that I declared separately, and now num has the number of customers, and you just display it, and you need to close the cursor. So this is how explicit cursor has to be handled. If you see here, the number of customers I have is 4. That is all. Thank you.